Welcome to Everything's Fucked podcast, where you haven't been fucked till you've heard everything's fucked. You're here with Monica,
And Asia.
and today we're going to be talking about female expectations.
Yeah,
You ready for this one?
this is going to be a good one.
Yeah. So I asked a question on Instagram. What does it mean to be a typical woman, or what does that bring up for people? And the only response that I got multiple of the same response, is that doesn't exist. And while I agree that doesn't exist because all women are different and there's no idea of a typical woman, and there shouldn't be because we are all our own individuals, it does exist because there are expectations placed on women, and that is a real thing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You ready to get into this?
Yeah, there really is a box that we're put into. There are expectations to make us more typical, to make us more cookie cutter. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was really surprised, honestly. Like I feel like maybe I didn't, like word it correctly or like give enough information about it on what the expectation was for what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Not that what I wanted to hear, but like, the information that I was like
you wanted
looking
to
for
start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think people were just sharing like, the PC version or politically correct version of like, there's no such thing as a typical woman, which I mean is great, that people are thinking that way. But, the idea that there's no, nothing placed out in the world for what a typical woman should look like is a load of shit. So
yeah, it is.
And that's what I want to talk about.
I think society is like the first one, you know what I mean, that would want us to be in a box and be cookie cutter and not stand out and not like, dye our hair crazy and just blend in and look a certain way and not be too overweight, but not to be too skinny. And that's where, we mean by the typical woman. You know what I mean? Like, if
wear
you look
makeup,
at it,
but not too much.
But not
Dress
too much.
nice, but not too nice.
Too sexy.
Be
not
sexy,
too sexy,
but not too sexy.
Yeah.
Speak your mind, but don't too much. Like don't speak your mind too much.
Don't. There's just so many, because we're women, we're expected to look a certain way, act a certain way, carry ourselves a certain way, conduct ourselves a certain way. And that's what's holding us back. And that's what needs to change, because if it doesn't, you know what I mean, we will go back to how it used to be. I think in the 50s and maybe the 30s, 40s and 50s, there was a typical woman, you know what I mean? And there was a standard that you had to meet, you know what I mean, to be that person.
The coiffed at home, stay at home mom that, came
baby on your
to
hip,
the door with her cocktail waiting for her husband, with her hair done and her dress, and dinner was ready.
I Love Lucy. You know what I mean? Like, you had to meet a certain standard to be a acceptable woman. You couldn't just, be yourself. Like nowadays you can. So I think that that's why people misunderstood your question, but nowadays we do have more freedoms. There are more, liberties that we are allowed to take, but there's still a lot holding us back because society, social media, men in general, they all like come in and put these restrictions on us and expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're still doing that to little girls and, to females in general, because I mean, look at the way that people talk to little girls, like, oh, that's not very ladylike, or, make sure that you keep your dress clean, and, oh, let me make sure your hair is done before. Don't get dirty. And, oh, you're wearing a dress, make sure that you're not doing cartwheels or everybody's going to see your underwear or things like that.
Exactly.
And I think, you're instilling that in little girls as they're growing up, and you're teaching them that they have to appear a certain way when they leave the house, and they have to appear a certain way when they're out in public, and
to present this fake facade that they have it all together. They can't leave the house looking like a hot mess. You're not allowed. No. If you do that, you're giving everybody the impression that you don't have your shit together, and women are supposed to have their fucking shit together. You know what I mean?
Yep. We're supposed to be nice and polite and
patient,
compassionate and motherly,
and smile the entire time. No, not allowed to look mean or have a scowl on our face. Could you imagine?
That pisses me off. I don't like being told to smile.
Me neither. That just makes my smile so what's a try hard, like it disingenuous when you put like, I don't know, makes me want to frown instead, like frown really hard, I guess.
Yeah. But how often have you ever heard somebody walk up to a man and have somebody tell a man to smile? You would look nicer if you smiled. You'd look more friendly if you smiled. You'd look more
I
approachable
honestly,
if you
I've never
smiled.
heard it. I've never heard it, but my husband doesn't smile often. And I have said to him, you need to smile more because you look angry all the time. But I think that it is something that women hear way more than
And
men.
but even strangers feel that that's an
Oh,
appropriate thing to
yes,
say
I've been told
to a
that. I've
woman.
been told that before. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing is like you're telling women that they have to be friendly and approachable by
At all
telling
times.
them that they need to smile more. Like,
At all
I don't
times.
want to
You
be
have to
friendly
be.
and approachable.
No,
I
I
don't
really don't
want
want you
you
coming
to
up to
talk to
me.
me.
Yeah.
I'm
This
not
may sound
smiling because
crazy,
I
but
don't want you to approach me.
I think men, especially older generation men, they think that we're doing everything for them. They really
Yeah.
do.
We're
And
not
when we
saying all men are like this because I do know that not all men are like this. In fact, I had a really great
no,
conversation with a follower this morning about this very topic, and he is would not fall into this camp. So
yeah, no, and I don't think every man does this. You know what I mean? Not every man puts expectations like
we're
my
not man
husband.
hating, just so
No,
you
no.
know.
My husband doesn't give a fuck what I look like. I can leave the house with my hair in a big bun, with no bra, like with my pajamas on, and he's like, he can be dressed to the nines, and he's like, let's go. You know, there's no expectation on me to look a certain way. Um, I think, you know, my mental health and stuff, there's no expectation for that to be great every single day. You know, I think that when you tell a woman that she has to be in a good mood all the time and she has to present a certain way all the time, and then when she goes and she's by herself and she's just nothing but unhappy, it's very fake and it's hard. And I think that men just don't realize how hard it is for us to fake it all the time. And, you know, I think when you have a man who understands that you have to fake it all day at work and then you get to come home and be yourself and he lets you be yourself, then that you feel that comfort. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's good.
it's really freeing.
Yeah. So I don't want to say like men aren't causing this solely because it is a society issue. It is a social media issue. It is a media issue. It
Well, and
is,
women perpetuate it too because we
yeah.
allow it by
And
not
and we
saying anything
fake
and not speaking up.
and we fake it to make it most of the time
Yeah.
because it's easier than fighting, you know, the patriarchy or whatever they call it. You know, it's easier than really arguing with people. It's just saying, okay, you know what, you're right. I should smile more. And then just going on about your life. You know what I mean? You don't, but I think if we talk about it and we say, you know, this is how we feel, this is what's going on, and these are the things causing it, then we're shining a light on it, starting a conversation that could potentially help change it the way the way things are.
Oh yeah.
So,
And I think it falls too into gender roles again, like we were talking about in our chores episode. It's
yeah,
like this idea that women are, in a black and white camp where it's like, we're supposed to be doing certain things and taking care of the children. And that's where like the compassionate part of us comes from and, the friendly, you know, giving, forgiving, pleasing type of way. And, not all women are like that. And not all women want to be like that. And
yeah,
if I if I want to be, smiling and friendly and giving and that's just my personality, that's great. Be that way.
be
But
you,
me
boo.
personally, I am not that way. I
No,
am not a very maternal type of person. I'm not a
hmm,
very affectionate type of
me neither.
person. I don't like hugging people very
Me
much.
either.
I'm just not that way. I don't walk around smiling. I'm not approachable.
Yeah,
And that people find that off-putting and that's fine.
it is.
But I don't
I got a
feel
pit
like
bull,
I
so
should
people
have
would
to
stay away from me.
apologize for that.
She's like, I'm going to be unapologetically me. You know, I think
Yes.
that once everybody decides that it's okay to be unapologetically you, no matter who that person is, just be it. And if it's not accepted, then, you know, speak up and say, this should be accepted. You know what I mean? Because being a woman is hard enough without all the other added pressures on there. You know, we already have to do so much more, in my opinion. I don't think we
Yeah.
need all those added pressures to look good while we're doing it, smile while we're doing it, you know, be approachable while we're doing it. Like, I have so many fucking tasks to complete in the day that are
You don't want to
Not
put a smile
fun.
on your face while you're doing
Bitch,
it?
I don't want to go grocery shopping, go to the fucking
With a
laundromat. I
smile on
don't
your
want,
face?
yeah, like I'm not enjoying myself with my toddler in tow. Like, this isn't fun. This is just
Ha
necessary parts of
have
life.
you
You know what I
have
mean?
you seen those, TikToks or reels where a woman is like, "My husband asks me why I'm not dressed up all the time," or like, "Why I don't dress up more often," and then she, like, puts on her evening gown and her
And
heels
does
and,
the
like, does
laundry
her
and
hair, and then she's,
yeah,
like, doing the laundry and taking
with
out
the
the
big old
trash and
smile.
sweeping and mopping with a big old grin on her face,
Yeah.
and it's just so comical because 'cause you're like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna dress up and put a big old grin on my face while I'm scrubbing the toilet
And they don't get it.
while
You know what I
I'm
mean?
while I'm making dinner."
I think the cool thing is about some men get it because they have to do it. Like my husband, when we go clean houses, he's right in there with me cleaning the toilets, cleaning the tubs. Like I'm not doing it by my damn self. You know what I mean? You're getting this money too, man. Let's go. So we do it together, and he has like an understanding of how hard it is, but he doesn't have to go do it every week. I do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so that's like to keep up our house, I have to clean 2 bathrooms, 1 kitchen, 3 bedrooms. Like I have to clean the fucking house every day, and it's not fun, and I don't enjoy it, and it doesn't bring me great joy. So no, I'm not going to be smiling, and I might be a little
not
bitchy
whistling
if
a tune.
it's yeah, and I might be a little bitchy too if I have to do it often enough without help. You know what I mean? So I think that it is a gender roles thing, and it is, a stereotypical type thing too, where there's a stereotype where we're supposed to be maternal. We're supposed to want to, breastfeed for 4 years and you know what I mean? And do all the things. And I was never built for that. Like,
Yeah,
especially some of my my kids. I didn't even feel like that connection to be that maternal. Does that make sense?
yeah, some of
So,
us are not that way, like, we're just not built that way, even though the expectation is that you are. And, there are women out there who don't want to have kids, and
and that
that's
is
a
so
choice, and that's
okay, man.
okay. I know
I
people who
applaud
don't.
them. I have fucking applaud them to make that decision because if I would have known how hard kids were or are, I wouldn't have had any either. I'd be
Yeah.
out traveling fucking Europe right now. I'd be backpacking and shit, dude.
Well,
No way. They're
that's why
hard.
some of us only have one.
And because you're smarter than the rest of us, that's
we
why. I mean,
we're like, baby, maybe this isn't for me."
four. It took me 4 kids to realize, you know what I mean, or 3 kids to realize, and then an accident, an unplanned baby to realize that this is not my cup of tea. I don't enjoy
Yeah,
parenting. I don't enjoy picking up after children and all that stuff. And society says I should actually. Not only should I enjoy it, but I shouldn't complain while I do it, and I shouldn't make fun of my kids for being assholes, and I shouldn't make memes about it, and I shouldn't be real and normalize it. I should make it look like it's easy. And
yeah,
that's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that, especially on Instagram. I want to show or end in this podcast. I want to show the real sides of it because I think that even like single dads are kind of like stuck in that role. You know what I mean? Where they have to do all the female stuff. And so they're the ones that know what we're talking about because they're like, "Oh yeah, your job sucks. It's not fucking easy. I hate it." You know what I mean? And I don't smile while I do it either. They're probably more of the compassionate ones. You know what I mean? But
yeah. I think men too who grew up with a lot of sisters
yeah,
or like
female
siblings or like
female
a strong
family. Yeah,
female family
you're right.
um have that kind of take on it too. The follower that I was talking to this morning kind of made that point when he was talking to me about growing up with sisters and his mother and feeling like he kind of understood that a little bit more, just having that strong
Yeah.
female presence in his
I think
life.
Joshua will. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
because he has 3 sisters and then me, and I'm super vocal about everything female. I mean, I'm probably too. I'm over the top about it, but he's probably going to have a lot more empathy for his wife and his daughters, his future daughters, because
Yeah.
he'll have seen us all go through it and understand that it's all normal and it's okay. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
not to judge or
Yeah, I think that's really important. And, there's so many things like in our culture today that also paint women in a certain picture that really just perpetuates those like stereotypes for women. I mean, look at porn, for example. A lot of men, start looking at porn and, as taboo as it is to talk about,
oh, we're
it's
talking
something that
about it.
happens. We're
We're
going to
getting
talk
the
about
fuck
it.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's such an unrealistic expectation when you look at the way women are portrayed in pornography and
Yes.
what actually
Unhealthy.
happens in real life, because
Yeah.
you see, I mean, regular porn, for one, but like if you look at women on women porn, I mean, that's not realistic. I mean,
Not
that's
at
not
all.
what it looks like in real life. And when
Unexpected.
you
It's
yeah,
unhealthy
when you
expectations.
it
You know
is
what I
unhealthy
mean?
expectations for women, and when you take that and men see that and that's what they start growing up with and that's what they see before they have real, romantic and sexual interactions with actual real
Real
women,
intimacy before they have
real
real
intimacy,
intimacy. Yeah.
they have such a, and we're going to do an episode on porn eventually, but they have such a skewed idea of what women are, what they look like, how
What
they
they
act,
enjoy.
how they behave, what they enjoy. And that too puts such a really, like, such a fucked up, like, idea into the heads of these young impressionable men,
Yes. I
boys,
agree. I
and
agree.
it continues, and until they learn that that's not what it's really
Until
like.
somebody like me comes along, you marry me, and I think that's something that my husband, he, he saved himself for me. So he had, we were 19, 20 years old. So he had many years of pornography exposure because that's all he had. And so he did have a very unrealistic expectation on what sex was going to go down like. It was
Yeah.
going to be what he saw on these videos. It was going to be, he was going to, if it was different than that, he was going to be discouraged and upset and kind of let down too.
It's
So
disappointing.
yeah. And we had to have like lots of talks in the first few years of our marriage on, no, that's not normal. No, that's just porn. You know what I mean? And we don't do that. You know what I mean? And have those
Yeah.
conversations, but you have to break somebody down and break their idea of sex down. And that hurts. It sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
because
sex
it
is
changes
intimacy.
this. Yeah, it changes their
It's not what they
whole
portray.
view, yeah, of
Yeah.
what it is. And
I,
it puts that pressure on women. Women see that too. Women look at it and they
yeah,
see it and they're
I
like,
enjoy
that's
porn
not what
from
I look
time to
like.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what
It's
I look like. That's not
they
what
don't
people
have
are
it's not
seeing,
body inclusive all the time, and it
Oh
doesn't
no.
show like the real nitty gritty. It's all like makeup, and you know what I mean. That's the thing with it
Yeah.
too. It's fake. It's just so fake. um if you're taking in that type of material at a young age, it sets you up to think, oh, okay, well, when I get married, my wife is going to do X, Y, and Z, and she's going to enjoy it, and she's going to ask me to do those things,
And she's going to look like this and she's
and
going
she's
to
going to,
want to.
yeah, and that's, it puts us in a box. Porn puts us in
Mhm.
this really peculiar place, especially
Yep.
in young relationships. So, from both sides, you know what I mean? Maybe if a young girl is watching it, maybe in her mind all men's dicks are, 10 inches long, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is very disappointing." When she gets out there in the real world and she realizes, most guys are packing like 4 to 6 inches. They're not
Yeah.
they're not walking around like
Ron
the dude you
Jeremy.
saw, yeah, in the
Yeah.
in the porn last week. So
Shit.
I think it goes both ways, and I think that
It does.
it proves even more that if you're believing what you see, you know what I mean, and you're putting that into your own life, which a teenager would do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to turn out well.
No, it's not. And then, that brings a point of, how women dress, don't show too much. And, if you
You'll
are
be
showing,
taken.
if you are showing too much, look at rape culture, look at
Yeah.
sexual assault culture. She was asking for it based on what she was wearing.
Yeah, she was
That's
wearing
just
that dress, that
another
skirt. Yeah.
expectation. Yeah. And that puts a lot of pressure on us
We should be
too.
able to walk around butt ass naked and not have anybody touch us. And that's something that I think not many people understand. Just because you're naked does not mean you're
You're
asking for
asking for
somebody to
sex.
touch you. Yeah,
Yeah.
or to touch you. I think, I
Or
saw
to
it
even
in
be looked at.
I saw it in raves when I was young, because I went to raves like,
Mhm.
between the age of 15 and 16, 17, right in that area. And the girls would wear very, very skimpy clothes, and they dance around, and boys would just walk up and touch them. Like they were
Yeah.
asking
Like
for
it
it
was their,
because
yeah, like it
they
was an
were flaunting it,
invitation.
and they were dancing and their boobs were flopping around. So they must want me to go up and touch them. Um, that's sick, and it's not the way it is. I think all touch should be under consent. And I think that it doesn't matter what you wear. It does not matter what you wear. You could be wearing nothing. I could walk around with pasties on my boobs and just walk around all day long. It doesn't mean I want you to look at me, and it doesn't mean I want you to touch me. I just wanted to
Yeah.
wear pasties, and it's
But
okay.
unfortunately, that's not the society we live
No,
in.
it's not. We're not
And
allowed.
no, and we're just talking about here in the United States. Like it's
Oh,
way worse in
imagine.
other countries.
I can't
We're
even
not,
imagine.
you
Not even
know,
touching on that because
no, because we don't live there, so
we
we
don't
don't
have,
know
2
for sure.
hours to
But
talk about it either. I mean, this
yeah,
is, it's a big, females have been held down for a really long time, and we've come a long way. We have come a long way in
we
the United
have
States. And I'm
in the
proud of
United
us,
States.
in the United States.
Yes.
I'm proud of us. We've come a long way. There just is still a lot of work to be done, and that's why we're talking about these types of topics, because at the end of the day, we need the support of everybody in society when these changes go down. You know what I mean? We need everybody to say, no, it's about time. It's about time, instead of, well, why does she want to dress like that? Well, why does she want to go there? Well, why does she think that she should get to do that? Everyone should just have more of the mentality of, oh, finally women get to do what they want. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. But I don't think we're quite there yet.
No, I mean, we're not changing the world on this podcast. We're just talking
No.
about it.
Oh, we're not? Shit.
Bitch, come on
Dang
now.
it. Come
Come on
on.
now.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like when we talk about like female expectations and what society places on us, we it's so much different now than it used to be, and we definitely have like come so far, especially in the United States. It feels really exciting to see like how women have changed a lot of things. Like there's so many things like we can do now, and we can be really vocal for ourselves, and women are really going places, and it's really exciting to see all of that change. And it's so frustrating when you get on social media and you see like places where we're still being held back, like body shaming and,
yeah.
men just talking shit and, even women talking shit against each other because
That's,
that still
I
happens
think,
like a lot.
I don't think that's talked about very much, but we're our own worst enemy. We're
We
very
really are.
bully. We have a bully mentality. In all parts of being a woman. A woman is being judged by another woman, like all parts of it, whether it
Yes.
be adolescence, whether it be, having kids or your marriage, or women always are the worst critics. They're the ones judging you. And it's all kind of catty too. It's like under their breath or behind closed doors where they're judging you. They're not like full face doing it, like like men. You know what I mean? Men will be like,
Yeah,
"What the
men will
fuck?"
just do it out in open and just be like, "Yo, bitch,
Yeah,
don't wear
but
that. It doesn't suit you."
not women, man. And
No,
I think
we'll
that
dig
that
deep and mean.
that yeah, I mean, honestly, mean girls, they're prevalent, and on social media it's like a treasure trove of them bitches. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I could go on and on about the mean girl mentality. I don't understand it. I've never
I think
been
it
a
comes
part
out
of
of
it.
jealousy and insecurity.
You're probably right. You're probably
Yeah.
right. I see a lot of good on social media. You know what I mean? It's like helped break the mold of the typical mom or the typical, stay at home mom. It's a lot of creators are coming out now and being honest, and showing the real
Yeah.
nitty gritty of their lives. There's still those fake, letterboard moms that are still trying to put up this front like they don't have, hard days and stuff, which it is what it is. We need balance, I guess, but I do see a lot of like change, and people really, I think that women and moms, they really want to normalize breastfeeding and normalize having rolls on your tummy and normalize stretch marks and normalize not wanting sex every day of the week and normalize being touched out. They want everybody that's coming up underneath them to know it's not like your mom said, it's not like grandma portrayed it, this is hard. It's okay to say it's hard. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say I'm not good at this, and I'm struggling. Um, and the village is really getting bigger on social media, if you ask me,
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
agree.
building my own village. I know you're building your own village, and it's nice to have those people we can go talk to. We can, throw our ideas out and say what we're going through as women. and we can have those, people right behind us, those women saying, yeah, me too. And yeah, that's normal. And this is okay. And I'm glad you're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it helps us feel like more connected to other people. Like the internet's been really awesome for that and just like realizing that there are a lot of other people out there that do go through the same things as us. And, you know, I think that most of what is out there has been really good, but yeah, there's a lot of negative out there as well. Social media
Yeah.
is has it's, you know, pros and
Like I
cons for
told you, it
everything,
has to
but
have, yeah, it has to have a balance, I think, because if it was over the top great all the time, then you know what I mean? There has to be a
yeah.
couple people out there
It's nothing is like
dredging it
that.
down. Yeah, there has to be. There's balance. I mean, social media, I see a lot of moms and a lot of women getting trolled and a lot of body shaming happening. I follow quite a few big pages and women that are plus size, that just want to be accepted. And, I think when you see that happening, you want to make change in your own mind, in your own judgments on people. As a woman, I used to judge, plus size
Mhm.
women. I
Yeah.
really did. I did as a teenager. Me and my mom were really thin. My daughter was really thin. I didn't understand like how anybody could let themselves go like that. Like it really, I was one of them that was like, ew, go to the gym. Like I had that mentality. But then I had kids and then I had to sit around for a long time. And then I had my mom get clean and gain a ton of weight and be okay with her body and the way it looked. And then I see people on the internet saying, no, it's okay. I move my body every day and I'm not doing it to lose weight. I don't mind the way I look. And like having so much pride in it that I was like,
I think
okay, like this is what this is changing how I'm viewing it. It's not unhealthy. It's not like a choice that they made. This is their body type and it's okay to
I think
accept
that was
them.
the narrative that was, like, being put out though, which is also part of the female expectations is, like, bodies are supposed to be a certain size and look a certain way, like we were saying,
The
and I
BMI,
think
all that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and I think that that's something that was ingrained in a lot of us is, like, if you don't look this certain way, it's because you are unhealthy, it's because you are doing it to yourself, it's because you are eating a certain way, and that's, like, not the reality
It
of
isn't.
how people work, how bodies
Yeah.
work, how you know, your biology works, how your genetics work. Like bodies just don't work that way. And you
Yeah.
can eat healthy and exercise and you might still be overweight. Like that's just the way some
Consider
people's
overweight
bodies
by
work.
the
Yeah.
BMI, but not overweight by, it's good that we're getting away from the overweight by society standards a little bit. We need,
Yeah.
of course, we have a lot of work to do, but I see people on social media making a big change. You know what I mean? Like, the model Ashley, what's her last name? She's gorgeous and
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
she's broken down so many barriers in modeling. You know what I mean? Because that used to be like a stick figure person. You used to have to like look a certain freaking way. And it was like, what? We don't look like that. Those clothes are not going to fit the average
Yeah,
woman.
Victoria's Secret models,
Yeah,
the
the
angels or
average
whatever.
woman
Yeah.
is literally a size 11 to a size 16. You know what? That's
Mhm.
the average woman. I wear a size 12. You know what I mean? So I think seeing those people and seeing them put themselves out there and saying, no, you're not going to judge me and you're not going to body shame me. And this is my body. I'm proud of it and I love it. It's giving me life. It's given me children. It's done this and this and that. So I think that that's the best part of social media when it comes to this.
Yeah, I agree. I think seeing those accounts with, you know, women showcasing like what their bodies look like after children and stretch marks in the rolls and, you
Yeah.
know, the boobs changing and all that kind of stuff is really beautiful and, you know, celebrating their bodies instead of, you know,
Hiding it all and
hiding
acting like
them
it's
and
shameful.
yeah, exactly. It's really changing the way women are looking at themselves, and that
Hmm.
changes the way that we can show our daughters, you know, and
Exactly.
our sons like this is a
What
body.
went
Like
This is
this
what
is
real women
normal.
look like,
This is
son.
what real women look like, and
When
this
you
is
go
what
watch
happens after
porn,
you have children. Yeah.
when you go watch
Like,
porn, remember that's all like WWE. You know what I mean? That's fake
yeah,
shit.
it's fake shit.
Over here in real life, this is what a mom bod looks like, and it's okay. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think that it's it's just refreshing. You know what I mean?
it
Because, like I
is.
said, as a child and as a young adult, that's not that's not the mantra. That wasn't the narrative that was being put out. And so I think it's healthy for my daughters to see. I know we don't talk about body shapes in my house. We don't have nicknames around body shapes, but I've made a couple decisions, like bad decisions when she was like 11. My husband would call her chunky or chunks or something like that. I can't remember like
Mm.
exactly, chubs, something like that. And it was cute the first few times and she didn't really take offense to it. But like after a couple times, she was like, yeah, I don't like that nickname. I don't like the way that makes me
Yeah.
feel. You're like literally talking about my fat. You know what I mean? And so I had to have a talk. He's like, well, come on. I was just joking. No, like that's where we have to understand that we
Yep.
don't do that anymore. We don't say, hey, gorda, hey, flaca. We don't do that in this
Yeah.
house. You know what I mean? We don't call each other derogatory names out of love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Commenting on somebody's body, even if you're doing it from a place of love or, joking or whatever, it just shouldn't be done. And for any age, your daughter, 5, 6,
It doesn't matter.
20,
Yeah.
whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's something that, I've always talked to Ramona about because Ramona's always been super skinny and she's just very thin. She's getting tall. And so she looks really thin for her, even for her
Yeah.
age. And she's always gotten a lot of comments about it. And one of my sisters is also this way. She's just very thin. And,
Yeah.
she's had 5 children and she's still very thin and she gets comments about it all the time and it makes her so uncomfortable
And
because
self
people
conscious.
it does and people make her feel very judged about that because they make comments like
Are you going to
she's
eat?
an asshole for being thin. Like somehow
Oh, I get what you
she's an
mean.
asshole for
Because they
having
can't
had
lose
5
weight.
children. Yeah, and
Yes.
it makes her feel uncomfortable in her own
I get that.
body. And Ramona has felt that way too. Like she has no control over the way her body is shaped. And,
Yeah.
it's the same as like fat shaming, skinny shaming is, the same thing. And it's like nobody has any right to comment on anyone else's body. Like you
No.
just shouldn't do it
Or what you
ever
do
for
with your
any
body or
way.
what you do with your body. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing too. Like I had to learn that the hard way because I have kids, but they should be allowed to do with their body what they want. You know what I mean? It's it's
But for
your
some reason,
body.
there's some like expectation where like with women, people have this idea in their head where they can just comment on our bodies.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be able to do that. I don't go
No.
around looking at a man and feeling like I can comment on his body all the time,
You're
you
like
know?
nice package in those gray sweatpants.
I mean, I guess that is a
That's
new
really
thing, which
doing it for
it
me.
makes
No,
me very
but
uncomfortable.
could you imagine
Honestly,
like
that
fuck, could you imagine riding the bus and like seeing a guy standing up, like holding on to the top rail with his gray sweatpants and you sit down and you're like
yeah, nice
right there eye
package.
level with his package and you're like, "Hey, the
But I've
things I
had
could
guys be like,
the
"Nice
things I could
tits,
do to that
great
package."
ass."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and talk to him, catcall him the way we've been catcalled and
Yes.
see if we can make him feel utterly uncomfortable because he wore gray sweatpants. You know what I mean? He
Right?
goes
Because
home and he
women
throws them all in the trash.
he's like, "I'll
Never wearing
never
these
wear these
motherfuckers
sweatpants
again.
again." Burn
Traumatize
'em.
a man. Don't do that, ladies. Don't go out and just traumatize him back. It's not nice. You don't know. Don't take Asia's advice. Don't do that.
It's not tit for tat around here,
No,
guys.
we're no eye for eye justice. No, but I think you're right. And I
Would
think a
that be
lot
a
of
tit for dick, not a tit for tat?
like that. Put that on a shirt. Tit for dick.
Tit for dick. Just kidding, don't do that.
Don't do that either. Oh gosh. No, men
Sorry, I lost your train of
what?
thought.
Where are we at? Where are we at? Look.
Recover, rebound. Bring it back
Most
in.
men want their cake and they want to eat it too. And I think
Yeah.
that that's a part of just being a man that we're not going to change about them. They want somebody to be a freak in the sheets and then out in public be like the mom, prim and proper.
Yeah.
They do. They want all
Yes.
that. Nobody.
I
I
do
don't
know
think
that.
any one man could tell me anything different. They don't want their wife walking around like I do. You know, I'm very overtly sexual. I've always been a very overtly sexual person. And I give off this vibe like I'm a swinger. And I don't mean to do it. And I'm sure my husband hates it because anytime we go anywhere, I'm checking the girls out just like I'm checking the guys out. Like I'm just right in the mix with all of it. And he knows I'm not cheating on him, none of that. But it's also like I give off this vibe Like I'm down with everything. So I think that men, they want that. They want that in only at home. They don't want it out like I do it. Like I'm just Asia all the time, 100% raw, real,
Loud
in
and
your
proud
face.
Asia.
I'm out
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's uncomfortable for any other man but my husband. My husband handles me great, but any other person would be like, Asia, put it away. You know what I mean? Like, knock it
Reed
off. You're a
Reed
woman. You
does
know what I
that with
mean?
me. He shushes me when I get
Reel
too
it
loud
in,
in public.
bitch.
Yeah, he does. He'll
My
shush
husband
me.
doesn't. 20 years later, bitch knows better. You know what I mean? I am who I am, and
Bitch knows better.
hey, he's not one of our
He'll be
faithful
like,
listeners,
shh,
so I'm okay.
shh. Why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm just talking very enthusiastically.
Old man Reed coming in hot. Like, why are
I'm
you
like,
doing this?
shh, I'm not yelling.
I love it. No, my husband he knows by now, especially like if we're out at the bar or we're having a good time, like I am in my element and I'm being me. Like I'm not necessarily trying to take anybody home, but everybody thinks that, you know what I mean? And
But everybody thinks that I am trying to take
they
them home.
do.
It's
And
fine.
I, I can't change this about my persona or my personality. And it's who I am. So we roll with it. But like I said, most men, they would want that part of me to be put
Yeah,
into a box and
you
not
would
be
definitely
out on
fall
display.
outside of the cookie cutter like
Yes.
expectation for a female.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I and that's what makes everybody like so interesting and unique is like all the
Yeah.
different variances and like women and who everybody is. Could you imagine if we were all like just so much the same, you know?
It would be
Like
such a boring world if we were
I
all
feel
so
like it
much
would
the same.
be.
And if we were
Yeah.
raising our children the same, it'd be even more boring because then we would all come out the same. So I think
Yeah.
that's like a cool part about being a parent and doing it your way and like getting in there and showing them the different stuff that you weren't showed, modeling that behavior, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
then
I
they're going
agree.
to turn out great.
It makes the world so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Ramona is very, unique in herself, and I love that so much about her. I had one of her therapists tell me one time that, you know, especially at school, they try to put kids in a box and have them be a certain way, and especially girls,
Yeah.
and they want children to be like a black box and you sit at school and you act a certain way. And she was like, Ramona is a rainbow circle and she'll never be a black box. And, this is how she was explaining it to me. And she was like, Ramona is just always going to be her own shape. She's just going to be
Yeah.
a rainbow circle and she's just never going to fit in that way. And, it helped me realize that, she's just a very unique person. And I think everybody should just be their own unique shape and color. And,
Yeah, I think
you know,
everybody should be like Ramona and just be
yeah.
who they are and not try to fit into that box. The ways that you can do it is just keep canceling out the persona that everyone thinks you should be. When somebody
Yeah, be
calls you out
yourself.
and they say, "Why are you dressed like that?" Because I wanted to wear this. You know what I mean? Why are you wearing your makeup like that? Because I wanted to wear my makeup like this. You don't get to, make comments about my makeup.
And if a
If you,
man tells you to smile, don't.
dude, just seriously, frown
That
so
makes me so
hard.
angry.
She's like, "That's where I'm gonna fucking stick the nail in that one."
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, I cannot. That one makes me so angry. I don't know why. I just infuriates me to no end. When I
I
hear it to other people too, like especially when I hear a man tell children that, like female children, it just
I
like
hate when
infuriates me.
parents make females, any kids, kiss or hug people, any people,
Oh,
even
we're going to talk
even
about
if
that
it's
one
their
too.
family. That's a big one.
That's going to come up in an episode when we talk about that
It's
one.
gonna have to. It's gonna have
Yeah.
to, man. We have so many topics to go over,
Oh, I know. Okay,
man.
you guys,
Okay, so
stop with these female expectations. You guys are all unique and different. Be
yes,
yourselves.
yes,
Don't fall into these stereotypes. Just
yeah.
be you,
There's no
uniquely you.
categories.
Yeah. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following us. Subscribe, rate, review, find us on social media. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, reach out.
Seriously, we do. Reach out. You guys can find us on Instagram. You can find us at our website, everythingsfuckedpodcast.com. Send us a DM.
Yeah, this is just a conversation starter. So if you have more to say and you want to talk with us about these topics, go ahead and hit us up in the DM.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Have a good one.